Leading off the 8 a.m. hour on Sports Beat AM.
Don't you guys go anywhere. Plan to put on a hitting display.
The center fielder.
That boy is good.
Number 9.
9 times.
9 times.
9 times.
A Midwest League champion.
Adios! Walk-off home run! Eloy Jimenez!
Who prefers to cheer for the Birds on a bat.
Adios! Goodbye, and maybe that's a winner!
Here's Darren Pritchett.
Jim Irizarry in for Darren this morning. 8:07 going on 8:08. Sports Radio 960 AM WSBT. Some sports gambling, some betting. A lot of Tiger Woods prop bets to get through this morning. Just all centered around Tiger too. I might throw in other golfers. I don't know. Maybe. Right now, the one, the only Ian Casselberry from Barrett Sports Media joining me right now. Ian, how are you, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jim?
I am awake. So we've made it this far. We just got to get to 9 o'clock. There's the finish line right there. So when is Major League Baseball going to figure out that maybe it's not the greatest idea to have people have to download like 20 apps to be able to stream their games?
I think they'll find out this season, or certainly in this first week.
Holy
when
cow,
people are
man.
complaining. I mean, even just last week, I think Mets fans and New York sports radio did a great job of voicing protest over not being able to watch the second Mets game of the season and Max Scherzer's first start.
Right.
But I think you also have to wonder if Major League Baseball cares, because they're getting like $115 million a year from these new streaming deals with Apple TV Plus, with Peacock, and I think they just think, or maybe hope, but I think they maybe arrogantly believe that the fans will come and find them if they want to badly enough.
I mean, they've taken a look at the World Series ratings, right, over the last few years. Right. I mean, it doesn't show that. I mean, and it's been on Fox this whole time. You know, not even cable. It's been on Fox, and the ratings have still just kept going down and down and down. Like,
but the postseason is kind of problematic too, right? Because you have the divisional series, you have the championship series on cable. You know, like if you might not know who's playing in the World Series because the ALCS was on FS1 or it was on TBS, and both those networks do a fine job, but I feel like anytime you have to think, what channel is it on, and you're looking for it, and at what point do you just give up? So I guess you could say baseball's been trending in this direction because they already say, all right, we're just going to put it on cable and let the people try to find us. Now, these are two outlets, Apple TV and Peacock, that aren't even on your cable provider. You have to go get these services, sign up for them. Apple TV, at least for the first half of the season, it's free, but it's something you have to download. How do I watch it? You know, do I watch it on my phone? Do I watch it on my tablet? Do I watch it on my Roku? Some people don't have Roku. Some people just want it on their TV, right? And Major League Baseball is making that more difficult.
I mean, I understand, you know, they're wanting to get younger, but like just making sure that everything is basically to where only young people are going to try and fish it out is kind of the wrong way to do it, don't you think?
Yeah, especially when there's some question as to whether those young people, that young audience, even wants to watch baseball.
Right.
Or wants to watch sports, period. You know, they get their highlights from Twitter and TikTok and Instagram, and they don't necessarily have the patience to sit down for 3 hours and watch a game. So chasing that audience might be a folly. I mean, on one hand, you say, all right, the younger audience is cord cutting. They're not signing up for cable and satellite anymore. Mm-hmm. So let's try to reach them where they're at with these streaming outlets. But again, the question is whether or not they even want to watch sports.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the good point right there. Ian Casselberry from Barrett Sports Media helping us try and figure out how the hell to watch out-of-market games for Major League Baseball. Why do they not just make everything available through their own app, through MLB.TV?
Right, they already have...
Why don't they just keep that in-house, basically?
I think it's money. I think that they had reached a saturation point or a ceiling with, as you said, their own product. They have these agreements with these regional sports networks, and those are on MLB TV. But then, Apple, for example, wants to get into sports so badly, and they're throwing millions of dollars or dangling millions of dollars in front of Major League Baseball. NBC wants something on Peacock. So I think it's a money grab, plain and simple. I think they say, oh, you're offering us how much? Okay, sure. Screw, fans are going to care. There's 162 of these things.
Right.
If they have to watch 3 of them on Peacock or 3 of them on Apple TV, I think they think that that's a sacrifice worth making. Now the mistake might be, I mean, as you know, as your listeners know, baseball is an increasingly regional sport. I mean, you may not be a big Major League Baseball fan, but you are a Chicago Cubs fan, you are a Detroit Tigers fan.
Right.
You're going to watch the local announcers, whether it's Bally's or whatnot. You get attached to your local announcers, and that's another thing, is that when you go to these streaming telecasts, it's not your guys. I've heard complaints about that. We brought up the Mets earlier.
Yeah.
That it's not going to be Gary Cohen and Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling for Max Scherzer's first start of the season. It's going to be, I don't even know who Apple's going to.
Yeah, I haven't even
put
seen
on
a
for
name
those games at this point.
I haven't even seen it. Have you?
It's kind of strange that they haven't announced that.
Yeah.
I mean, Turner announced their announcing crews yesterday, but it's strange that that game's tomorrow and Apple hasn't announced who their national crews are going to be.
Maybe they're holding auditions today. Maybe that's happening today. I don't know. Apple hasn't really had to deal with live sports too much before, have they? They're new at this. They'll figure it out. Speaking of the regional sports networks, even if you're cutting the cord like I do, I've got YouTube TV. The local teams in the region, anyway, for us here in South Bend are the Cubs, obviously, White Sox, obviously, the Tigers, and the Reds. Those are like the 4 local teams where I can't watch them on MLB TV. Those are the in-market clubs. One of the 4 is available on YouTube TV. So you even if you're trying to cut the cord, you've got to get like 2 different services,
Yeah, I think this is another streaming play here, I think, because, if you get your team through Bally Sports, like YouTube doesn't even carry Bally Sports right now, right? There's a carriage dispute there.
Yeah, DirecTV doesn't carry them either, I don't think.
You can't get them on MLB TV.
Or, I'm sorry, Dish Network is the one. The satellite.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bally's and Sinclair Broadcast Group are trying really hard to get the Bally's channels, or those teams that have agreements with Bally's, on their own streaming services. And I think there are 5 teams that are currently agreeing to that package or that are signed up. I know Marquee with the Cubs is also working with Sinclair to have a standalone streaming service. But you're waiting for these services to come. You want to watch baseball, and again, as we talked about, this is something else you got to sign up for. Now, okay, I got to sign up for this service. How much is it? Is it available on Roku or is it available on YouTube TV? Is it available on Hulu? It's baseball makes it so difficult to find.
Like, it's just the worst blackout rules. It's the worst streaming setup, quite honestly. It's like it's just bleh. It's just like it's thrown together. Here, let's see what else we can stick on the wall. Let's see who else we can wrangle into our little pyramid scheme that we've got here. It's just like how much more confusing can they make it?
They certainly seem to be trying. Because you might have to have four services, 5, just if you want to watch, and that's even if you want to watch all 162 games. I mean, if you're a diehard fan, you're probably going to go seek that out. But if you're a little more casual fan, screw it. It's not on my cable package. There's so many baseball games too. Maybe that's part of it. Is the fan that's going to tune in devotedly to all 162 games maybe is just such a small slice of the pie that I'm presuming here, and baseball presumably has their data, their research, whatnot, that they've decided that that's such a small slice of the pie, the diehard fan who wants all 162 games, and they have those fans already, presumably, right? So why bother going to chase them?
I've got a little life hack as far as MLB.TV goes. How to get it for like less than $140 for the entire season.
Oh, geez, I wish I'd have had this conversation with you yesterday.
Oh, did you just sign up for it yesterday?
I did.
I wish I had passed this on to you yesterday then. So I guess, for any listeners wanting to get MLB.TV and you've got an out-of-market club, instead of paying the $140 for MLB.TV, go to the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association website. All right, just look it up on Google. Pay $25 for the home run fan membership. That's the cheapest membership that they have. They will then send you a link for a 50% discount on MLB.TV. So guess which route Daddy took,
Yeah.
I mean, even if they're trying to make money, they're constantly getting undercut by, by players. So
even the players, the alumni don't want to pay $140.
Right.
They got to get there.
And honestly, who can blame them? Who can blame them? Especially if your team's out of it by August. As I've had to deal with like the last couple of seasons anyway, couple of full seasons anyway. It's just like they're out of it anyway. What do I care? It's football time now. So,
oh man.
But yeah, there's $45 that you can now gamble away. Ian, what you got up there at Barrett Sports Media?
I just wrote a column about the K-Rod cast that they debuts on Sunday with. It's going to be interesting with ESPN because not only are they debuting their new Sunday Night Baseball crew,
right?
Carl Ravitch, David Cohn, and Eduardo Perez, but they're doing the alternate on ESPN2, an alternate K-Rod cast with Michael Kay and Alex Rodriguez. And Kay and Rodriguez had a conference call with the media yesterday, and they said they want it to be loose. They want it to be like a couple of guys watching the game in the stands. It'll be interesting to see if it has anything close to the appeal of the Manning cast. I mean, right. I think one thing ESPN's overlooking is that people actually like Peyton and Manning,
right?
And
Eli
Manning.
Yeah, you can't just you can't. They're trying so hard to find another Manning cast. I mean, you had the Bird and Taurasi one for the women's national championship. You've got this one. Even Turner's kind of gotten in on the Manning cast thing when they had the alternate feed of the NBA All-Star game with the Inside the NBA crew. It's like everybody's trying to find that next Manning cast, and it's just like, no, that was just lightning in a bottle. That was somebody going, hey, that's actually a good idea with two guys who people actually like.
Yeah, and then you wonder too how much of it is a social media driven thing, because you look at the ratings, and that's $3 million or whatever. I don't have the exact number, unfortunately, but let's say you have $10 million for the regular Monday Night Football telecast, and then it's something like 1.5 for the Manning cast. I mean, that's 1.5 more than if they didn't have the Manning cast. I understand that. But again, it's such a small piece of the audience. You wonder how much it's really worth doing. And then for this K-Rod cast, they're only doing it for 8 of the 25 Sunday Night Baseball telecasts. But anyway, what I wrote, yeah.
What's even the point?
But what I wrote about was, Michael Kay really needs to bring it out of A-Rod. I mean, there are some.
Oh yeah.
It's he and you hear other stories. Oh, he has so much insight and he knows a lot, and that comes out when he's on the Fox postseason pregame postgame show. But he's not good at doing that in the booth. I don't know if that's just a bad pairing with Matt Vasgersian the past couple of years, but this first telecast will be Yankees and Red Sox. And man, like I wrote, you got to get some stories out of A-Rod. Like, let's hear about that trade that almost happened.
Right.
In what was it, 2003? Let's hear about that fight with Jason Varitek. I mean, explore the space, so to speak. Right. Like,
yeah.
You don't want to just hear A-Rod's thoughts on crypto or whatever he's trying to sell. Right. I mean.
If that's what I get on the K-Rod cast, then I'm never watching it again. Never. Not even going to give it a second chance. So, in closing, if you're an in-market, good luck finding your RSN, your regional sports network, especially if you're a Cubs fan and trying to watch marquee. Hit or miss. And then if you're an out of market watcher, you've got 3 more apps to sign up for too. So awesome.
Yeah. So get very familiar with your Roku, with your Fire Stick, I guess, and
be able to take some of that $45 that we all just saved and put that towards paying for yet more subscriptions for streaming services.
Yeah. You cut cable to save money in the first place, right? And then by the time you sign up for all these streaming services, it's you asked at the beginning of this segment, what is Major League Baseball, the risk they're taking? I do think they are going to find out very quickly just how displeased fans are with having to chase down its product. And if we learned anything from the pandemic, I think fans miss sports, and you see the ratings for things like football and the NCAA tournament are way up. But, once you give people the opportunity to learn that they can do something else, they do.
Yep.
And they don't always come back, or it takes a long time for them to come back.
It sure does. Ian Casselberry from Barrett Sports Media. Always good help trying to at least decipher the puzzle of Major League Baseball streaming. Good luck, everybody.
And thank you, man. I'm just here, trying to keep you awake.
Try.
Push you toward 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Just get me to 9. Get me to 9. All right, sir.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks as always, and I guess go Tigers. I don't know.
Yeah. I should say I haven't made this public, but I'm going to put this on at some point. I do think the White Sox they're my World Series pick. I think.
Oh, okay.
All right, but I do think the Tigers are going to be in it. I think, I don't know if they'll finish second. How good are the Twins? What do you think?
They got better with Correa, I'll say that.
But their starting pitching is yeesh.
Yeah, it is kind of yeesh, isn't it?
Yeah.
They are relying on offense up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still like the White Sox at least coming out of that division.
Definitely, so, yeah. I hope the Tigers compete for a wild card.
I'm hoping Toronto does something. I'm hoping Toronto's in that mix.
I think I'm picking them to win the AL East. So I think, I think Toronto will have, and they'll have the opportunity to make a deal at the deadline if they need to.
Right. As long as it's not the Red Sox or the Yankees in there, I'm a happy man. Ian
I think
Casselberry.
he'll be happy.
Ian Casselberry, a million thanks once again, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you very much, Jim.
And there you go. Coming up, betting. We're going to try and help you save some money. Actually just tried to help you save some money. Going to help you try and win some money coming up here. Sports Radio 960 AM WSBT.